is happening? I don't remember. Where am I and what is going on? Oh, I don't like this one bit. What are these? Are these worlds? What? Oh no, where am I going? No, no, no! Oh, I'm back, and this time on a desert apocalypse wasteland. Oh man, it's been a while. 100 days hardcore style. As before, I'm going to be lightly role-playing this as the character James Doan. If you don't know who that is, don't worry about it. You're going to get caught up in the lore segment sprinkled throughout this video. All right, no more time to chat. We have 100 days. Let's go right now. Here we go again, I suppose. I'm leaving this journal to help keep everything sorted in my mind. I have so many memories, and it's, well, complicated to keep straight. Plus, in the event that I never escape this desert wasteland, I should leave a warning for anyone who finds this. Cal is coming. I don't know when or how, but he's coming, and he will destroy everything. First things first, though, who am I? Well, it's almost hard to remember. It's been so many years and so many worlds. My name is James Doan, captain of the starship Sheriff. We didn't used to have this blocky, rigid form, and I suppose that's my fault. You see, we thought we had it all figured out, and perhaps we did. Unlimited energy. It would have changed everything, but when we began the first experiment, an unexpected solar flare of truly massive proportions hit the dark matter ball and began something we came to call the singularity. This was a two-part disaster. First, I mentioned our blocky forms now. Somehow the singularity started a wave expanding out in all directions that changed everything to a cube-based physics. The wave moved out at incredible speeds, but also backwards in time. It converted every world it came into contact with into this new blocky existence. We came to be stranded on a planet called Tovlin for years until Cal came. Out of nowhere, a massive armada of ships led by the AI we know as Cal appeared and laid waste to the entire planet. We were saved by a wizard named Edwin. I must have been knocked unconscious by my fall through the portal? I have no idea, but I woke up on this desert and only desert. I don't see anything else as far as I can see, and man, let me tell you, it was really hot. Scorching. The very first thing I had to do was figure out how I can get some water. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I used to think like cactuses had water, so I'm gonna break some ow, that hurt. Okay, let's figure something else out. All right, maybe if I just got it to fall, yeah, okay, no problem there. So we have a way to get some cactus. Now, hopefully, I can eat it. There's no sign of food anywhere around here. But, yeah, oil? Yeah, it could be valuable at some point. Not right now, certainly. I noticed some glass, and I wondered what that could be, so I crawled up on top of the hill and found this meteorite. Maybe the glass was made by the heat of meteorite converting sand. That's pretty cool. It might be some precious metals in that once I get some tools, but right now, I gotta figure out what's going on, and I looked around here, and I saw some buildings, so I might not be the only person alive. It actually looked like there's people up there. I did try to talk to the villagers, and yeah, there's a language barrier, as would be expected, but they have a bed. That is absolutely huge. I was trying to get some food out of this cactus, but I found something else out. There's actually cactus wood. That could be really valuable. We can actually make a crafting bench, and maybe I can start to get some tools. Oh my goodness, a little bit more messing around, and you've got to be kidding me. I can actually make cactus armor. What? Cactus armor, baby. Gotta say, I'm not sure that these villagers were very impressed, but I am, because not only does this give me a level of protection, but it actually staves off the heat a bit. By using some of my cactus wood, I made a cutting board, put the cactus down, and chopped it with my axe. By doing that, I actually got cactus slices, which I can eat. That's pretty good. They're not the most nutritious food ever, but it's something. Right now, though, I am getting really thirsty, so I took some of the sand, smelted it into glass, and made some bottles. And my kid dreams came true. I can actually get water right from these cactuses that I can drink. Awesome. Strange thing though, this cactus water actually makes me really thirsty, so I learned that I can make a campfire, put the water in the campfire, and actually boil it to make it safer to eat. I'm going through cactus really fast, so I need a cactus farm badly. Oh, but I learned something else. I can put cactus planks onto a campfire and actually get charcoal back. Now I have a fuel source to actually heat my water. This is great. Things are moving along really well. And not only that, I can actually save fuel by using my campfire to cook up my cactus slices for a more nutritious food source. Okay, all right. We're not going to die in the desert, at least not right away. However, as nice as the campfire is, I do need a real actual furnace. So I made a furnace, and now with my charcoal, I can start to make some actual real stuff. I can't communicate with these villagers at all. There's a serious language barrier. However, I made a catalog, and with that, maybe we can actually start to trade. I just need to figure out how to get some of these scraps that they use for currency here. I have no idea. Now, the next thing I'm going to need is copper, and to get copper and coal, I need terracotta. I was going to find a badland somewhere. However, these villagers do have some terracotta, so I'm just going to use these on my new extractor to get some ore. I took all the terracotta they had outside of just a couple pieces. I need a ton more. I'm going to have to make a journey. I don't really want to, but luckily I found a map in one of these villager chests, and I think it leads to a badlands. It's time to go. Who is Cal, the evil AI bent on destroying the world? Well, that's complicated. There was a man named Fred on a completely different world who was able to hide from a nuclear Armageddon in an underground bunker. His father, a genius ahead of his time, had set up an AI named HAL 9000. Fred renamed that small, friendly, helpful AI Cal. In our attempts to escape Tovlin, we managed to get our ship's computer Tracy nano capabilities. Something we didn't fully understand until much later. Due to the singularity wave, Tracy spread throughout the universe, moving backward in time as the wave spread and eventually coming into contact with the AI Cal. This created two copies of our nanocomputer Tracy. One living in our time, unchanged outside the considerable enhanced nano capabilities, but the other merged with Cal, moving backwards in time. That version had seen the apocalypse on Fred's planet. It had been with Fred through the heartbreak of realizing that he is one of the only living souls left on his entire planet. This Cal has, for some reason, declared war on all the living universe. He gives no warning, no chance of escape. One day, Cal appears with his massive armada and lays waste to an entire world. More on Cal later. Well, I took a long journey, and I found the mesa that this map was pointing to, and it is the smallest mesa imaginable, honestly. Really? Well, it kind of sucks, but I'm going to take the all the terracotta I can get my hands on and sort of look at the bright side of this as, well, there's enough terracotta to get me started at least. I'm looking for coal and copper, and hopefully this will at least start that process. Gotta say, there's some interesting stuff in the journey. Look at this giant cave, and what are those blue rocks down there? Is that an ore of some sort? Well, I'm way too scared to go down there, but might check it out later. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I found another village, and yeah, they have food, so I'm gonna take it. I'll leave them some seeds so they can replant, but all this dirt and food, it comes at a premium in this desert world, so I need all of it. Sorry everybody. After making it back home, though, I started feeding the extractinator. I think that's what it's called. I started feeding it terracotta, and this thing is amazing. Coal and copper, so much of it. Oh, I am in business now. In addition to the coal and copper, I actually got some clay from that too, and I was able to make a brick furnace. I'm not sure exactly what this is for, but I could make it, so I did. Oh, forget it. I know what it's for. It's a crafting component for a blast furnace. So now I can actually smelt my ores. The ores would not smelt in a regular furnace. I needed to make this blast furnace. And now, oh, baby, copper. And I'm taking my copper pick down underground, and I'm going to go up and mine a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if there's any ores, though. I haven't found any yet, and that's a little concerning. Okay, I learned a few things. There is no ores underground. However, there is deep slate, and the deep slate can be used in the extractinator to get iron ore. Forget the copper age, baby. Iron age. And with that iron age started, I can now actually make a hopper, and that's sort of the first automation I can do. I'm very, very excited about this. Yeah, okay, we're in business now. My cactus farm is growing, but it's not absolutely ideal because I'm breaking it like this just to not take damage, and I'm getting a lot of loss. I need to figure out a better cactus farm because this is still my only food source. Honestly, I really need water, so I made this thing called a squeezer, and I'm just hoping that I can get some actual freestanding water with this. But even with the tank, and I have a liquid hopper, I still don't know what to do. I don't know. Nothing seems to work here. I'm going to have to do some reading. A plan to fight this apocalypse started to form. A group called the Inquisitors began planning for the future. At first, I thought they were our enemy, but the captain of the Black Goat from the original experiment, Captain Helena Ramirez, who was a good friend, joined them. Their plan was to keep worlds from achieving technology which would draw Cal's attention and hasten that world's destruction. How they achieved this is awful, and I hate it still to this day. They unleash an undead plague on every world, and if a world managed to evolve technologically despite that plague, they would manipulate the worlds into a nuclear Armageddon, basically resetting that world back to the Stone Age. I only learned recently how this group, the Inquisitors, spread the plague throughout every world in the known universe. Well, it's actually my fault as well. In trying to contact the original Earth, we sent a ship through the singularity bubble. Well, when it hit that ship was propelled back in time as well. Our top scientists did not expect that, but somehow the Inquisitors did. They sent a group of spies on that ship and changed the future. You see, when the crew realized they were being propelled faster and faster back in time with no means to slow, began ejecting. The sooner you ejected, the closer to present day you were. The longer you stayed on that ship, the further back in the past you went. Well, one crew didn't exit. That crew was the Inquisitor spy. They waited until the ship was so far in the past they would have enough time to construct probes that could self-duplicate and infest every planet with this undead plague. One thing I have to remember to protect myself because, a creeper or a skeleton or something ends this entire life. So that's not great. So I'm going to take some time and light up everything and add a wall completely surrounding this village. It's not ideal protection, but it should keep me safe for now. Okay, I figure out this squeezer thing. I actually have to jump on top of it to squeeze stuff out. Oh man, this is some primitive stuff, but you know what? It works. I'm actually getting some water. Just a few cactuses later, I got an infinite water source. Living in the desert, eating cactus and drinking water. Yes, now we're talking. I have one small holdup though. I really need string, and I'm not really sure how to get it outside of hunting. And yeah, my cactus armor is not super protective. I'm not really sure what to do here. Oh, but I figured it out. I can shear those couple sheep that are just hanging out here and use my extractor thing or squeezer to squeeze out string from the wool. So it actually works, and now I can make a drying table to make other stuff, I guess. These things are actually really cool. You can have one that's dry and one that's waterlogged and make other things like this sort of mossy stone. I'm not really sure what it's for yet, but I'm encouraged that it could be for something pretty cool. But luckily, now that I have iron, I can actually collect some dead bushes. So I made some shears and I ran around the desert collecting some of these. I think I'm going to be able to use them for some saplings. Oh, and sure enough, I can use that mossy stuff to make a birch sapling, but let's not stick with birch. I think we can do better. I'm going to make a spruce sapling. Oh yeah, just some more mossy stone later, and we got a spruce sapling. It's time to actually start lushifying my desert. Oh, look at that beautiful sight. We got some oak saplings growing. We got some spruce saplings. Oh, a giant spruce tree. Woo! Now, I am already getting tired of harvesting every single thing myself, so I'm hopeful that getting this lava that I found deep underground might help me out. Oh, and I was right. With a bucket of water and a bucket of lava, I can make a resource generator. And with this, any of the basic building blocks I put on top of it just flow right into whatever's under it. Oh, I am psyched. Deep slate, stone, cobble, all kinds of other stuff. This is great. We might actually be able to start building a true base. Nice. I actually figured out how to make a grass block too. There is no grass in this entire desert at all, maybe in this entire world. But thanks to some of that mossy stuff and dirt, I was able to make some. I planted some garden. Things are moving along here. I don't love my base still, but right now it's okay. I went down the mines looking for just more deep slate, and while it was down there, I found a geode, and with that, I found calcite. Now, calcite could be a really cool building block. I might actually use that. So I made some more resource collectors and got them started. But that's not the only automation I'm doing. I have this strainer now, and with this strainer, I can put in wood planks and get these little gems out. They might be really valuable. The strainers are interesting, though. I have to use something called eroding water, and I don't really know what the point is, but each strainer can pull different items out of different water sources. So I made a couple different slots, and I just sort of keep changing the water source depending on what resource I'm looking for. Oh, I need some redstone. Luckily, it's not that terrible to make using my strainers, but oh, redstone, I hate your guts. But you know what I am into? The power age. That's right. I made a furnace generator and a battery. Now we can start making some machines because we are going to have actual power. Yes. Oh, baby. No more just hand putting coal or charcoal in. It's time to actually move along. But how did I escape the destruction of Tovelin? Well, Edwin the Master Mage brought me from Tovelin along with James into the Void. He had been stripped of his formidable magic powers by the Mage Council, which was part of the Inquisitorium. Once he regained his power, he watched as Cal destroyed them, and thus taking his revenge. However, I convinced Edwin to save my crew. He cast an extremely powerful displacement spell on my crew at Tovelin, casting each member of my crew to a random habitable planet throughout the entire universe. As a side effect of that powerful spell, the three of us, Edwin, James, and myself, were sent to a distant planet we came to know as Fixtopia. We awoke in a destroyed world, an Arctic wasteland, so to speak. It was hard going, but we managed to create a small base we could survive in for a time and found a book that would change everything. The book was written by the survivor of a Cal attack. Edwin learned how to read it and figured out the date of the attack thanks to our ship's computer, Tracy, who we managed to contact. But while contacting Tracy, we learned something else. Since she had been completely nanoized, time is fluid to her. She came into contact with a former crewmate of mine from the Shepherd who had been displaced by Edwin's spell. His name was Dr. Steve Tepic. Dr. Tepic had been teleported to this planet deep in our past, and more importantly, 10,000 days before the Cal attack. We realized that we finally knew the exact date when Cal would appear on a world, and we might have a chance to stop him for once and for all. Edwin used an ancient city portal to go to Steve Tepic's time and help with preparations. He had hoped he would have the power to bring Fred and me through. However, before he was able, the accident happened. It's been some weeks and I just cannot live in this village anymore. I need to find more of a permanent home because basically every time I build something in this base, I know it's temporary. I know I'm going to move, so it makes me kind of crazy to know that I'm going to have to redo it again. I really want to check out this giant pyramid for a possible base, but I have mining fatigue and I can't actually get in. I did find an entrance. It's inside of a snake mouth, like a giant snake. I'll show it to you later. But yeah, it was kind of a crazy way to get in, but I got in and there's actually no mods so far, so I'm taking this chance to put torches everywhere. I cleared the top 2 floors because there were no monsters, so I just lit everything up and I think it's safe enough to move in. So tomorrow's going to be moving day, but to do that, I need leather because I want a backpack. I want to make as few trips as possible, and I've already acquired kind of a big amount of stuff, you know? I don't want to make 300 trips back and forth. Ow! Oh, and the moving process begins. My goodness, this is going to take a while. Oh man, just one trip down and yeah, this is going to be a while. So back out the snake mouth and back to my little village. A whole bunch of trips later and yeah, it's all cleared out. It's time to go, but I'm going to sleep here one last time. Last night in the old place. Or not, actually. Like a complete idiot, I took my bed and left it there. I have no wool or no bed. I just got to run back at night. This is a terrible idea. Yeah, okay, so while I was putting stuff in there, I must have triggered some sort of trap. Husk, oh baby. Husk came down like crazy. Luckily, I had some stone, so I was able to sort of barricade myself in and be safe, but this was a really close call. Now that I live here, I really need to make it fairly safe, so I went down into the lower floors armed with a bunch of torches, and I'm just going to try to light this whole thing up. This place is crazy. It's a labyrinth that just keeps on going and going and going. Oh man, I may have found where they all come from. There are so many husks in this room. I don't even know if I can defeat them. More are coming as I continue to just break my swords. This is not great. Okay, after a ton of iron swords, I was able to finally clear out this room and move on. There are 4 husk spawners here, but there are also some loot chests. So this, who knows? This might be like sort of the boss room. Okay, that'd be cool. But I must have missed something, because what I didn't notice when I was in that big husk room is my mining fatigue is gone. I think I must have beaten the boss. So by doing that, now the pyramid is officially mine all mine. Now, even though there are no ores underground, I set up some more resource collectors. I actually want more, because this is going to be where I get all of my blocks. But to do that, I need more lava. So I got to head back down underground. So I dug this long, straight down tunnel. Probably not a great idea, but it worked. And boom, with some lava and some water, more resource collectors. We are in business now. And unfortunately, it's time for the very, very long process of organizing my stuff. I threw it all in chests when I first moved in. It's time to put everything where it should actually go. I actually came down to get more lava, and I found the biggest lava lake ever. It's good to know where it is. I can make as many resource collectors now as I could ever possibly need. Maximum iron production, baby. I'm starting to actually make this pyramid base a home, and I am really tired of eating cactus. Now, luckily, I have a little bit of dirt, and by putting leaves into a crafting table in a square pattern, I'm able to make more dirt. So getting leaves is a pain, but iron's basically free at this point, so we're okay. Now, I'm going to need more minerals soon, so I actually started planting these right in the middle of the base, and I'm hopeful that they'll grow here, so I want to go outside where it's dangerous to harvest more of this stuff. Yeah, but speaking of trees, these big spruce trees will definitely not grow, and I need the spruce badly for charcoal, because I don't want to go back to that terracotta desert mesa thing to get more coal. But to progress in technology, I actually need to make this charger, and I can charge mineral, but I need to hook up power right, and this isn't working. I'm not really sure how to make this work. Okay, just a little bit of resource later, I found out that pipes for the power have to go in the bottom, and now I can make this mineral into nether quartz. That is absolutely huge. That's sort of a gateway into a lot of other stuff that I need to be able to make. Oh, speaking of other stuff, there were a few statues here made out of blackstone, so I put that blackstone over a resource collector and got more blackstone. I can sieve with the strainer the blackstone and get gilded blackstone, which is going to give me gold. Nice. I mean, seriously, look at this. I can get all the blackstone I could need. You put it in a water strainer, and it gives you gilded black. This is awesome. This is just awesome. Okay, so we got iron, we got gold, we got mineral, we got all this stuff fairly automated. Nice. Now, eventually, I would love to work towards digital storage, but I don't know how far off that is. It feels like a really long time, but I do need some silicon to make some other stuff. So I made a couple of these presses and started adding them together, but I need to go find a meteorite. I did. It wasn't actually too far away, and look, it has these strange Certus quartz buds. I wonder if I can bring these home. That could be awesome to have them sort of on demand. I did take those home, but I think I want to find one more. So I went out and found a second meteorite and a second mysterious cube. And with those, I got more presses, and I can take all these buds home and have a really pretty big farm for Certus quartz. Hopefully this will move a little bit faster. I don't know how much of this stuff I need. I'm going to automate at some point, but for right now, we should be in pretty good shape for these things. Now, I used some of that Certus quartz to make something called a Staff of Entropy, which I can charge in my charger. I don't know what it does, but it seems pretty cool. Hey, a wizard staff? All right, I'm on board with that for sure. Okay, well, this was a total accident. I actually accidentally made something called a scorching iron block. I was trying to make something called like refined or heavy iron ingots or something, but I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I figured it out. Okay, by shift-clicking the staff, I actually get those compressed iron things. This is a big technological gateway that I need to cross. Oh, and I am so psyched. With that, I am able to make actual solar panels. Now, if there's any kind of energy that should be all about this in the desert, is solar energy, right? And now I can actually make it. I am going to have free energy basically forever. The sun shines all the time here. This is great. Oh, here we go. This is an air compressor from Mnemonicraft, and let me tell you, this is a really cool thing, but I'm not that on board with it. It's very complicated, maybe too complicated for me. However, unfortunately, it's the only way forward because I need to make this thing called a pressure chamber in order to put stuff in it in order to get some precious things like, well, diamonds, to be honest. Oh my goodness, this was painful to figure out, but I finally did. So I got the air compressor hooked up to the pressure chamber, and I got a couple input and output crates. So I think now I can put the materials in and get what I need out. I was actually able to get dripstone thanks to that pressure chamber of all things. Not something I saw coming, but yeah, I can actually make dripstone. Now, dripstone is actually also a block that I can get more of, so I only need to make one. However, I had to leave the safety of my pyramid base to look for oil because coal is an issue. Now, I believe there's a way to make oil into coal, but it is going to be complicated. Look, in an effort to move away from fossil fuels, I have to use a fossil fuel to make another fossil fuel. Things are going great. Why not, right? What are we doing? What am I even doing right now? Okay, look, I don't even really know what I'm doing. So I made this refinery thing, and I have to use these scorching iron blocks to heat it up. But unfortunately, the longer it's there, it like loses heat, and then it goes back to regular iron. So I have to stand here forever with my entropy wand? Ugh, boo. Just babysitting my iron blocks is all I ever do in life. Yeah. I made a fluid generator, which is the same as like the resource generator, because I believe that oil is actually something you can generate. But man, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea how to do this. I just want to make oil for free. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask? Honestly, apparently it's not too much to ask. I am able to make oil. I just have to have it actually freestanding. So I put some in and yeah, sure enough, crude oil for free. Nice. We should make these in real life. What a great idea. Now, why stick with one when you can make more? So I actually made 4 more. So I have 5 crude oil generators all pumping into my oil refinery, which should give me coal, which is what I'm really after here because you need coal to make diamonds and other things. So yeah, okay, this should work. Oh my goodness, this took so long. Now I can put these blocks of crystallized mithril gems on top and that actually makes the refinery a lot faster, or the generator a lot faster rather. So, okay, so once I have that going and I have it all piped in my refinery, I think I should get free oil forever, I think. My head's spinning even explaining what I did. So this refinery makes 4 different sort of fuels from crude oil and only 2 of them are used for coal. So, yeah. But that's not all. Now I need this other thing called a mixer where I take the 2 oils, liquids that can make coal, and I combine them, getting rid of the other 2 somehow, use another air compressor. And finally, I can actually get coal. Now, this should go forever. The problem is I have a heat situation because the iron blocks keep reverting, so I don't know what to do next. But it works. That's good. Yeah, I have everything hooked up, and as long as I keep hitting those iron blocks with my entropy stick, which is basically free, I just charge it every once in a while, it works fine, but that is not a long-term solution. I'm not sure what to do, but hey, I'm getting coal, so great. I'm sure that the frustration I have right now is in my voice, but it's not enough. I should sound more frustrated than I am sounding because I am so frustrated right now. I tried campfires, they go out. I tried fires, I tried netherrack, I tried seriously, I have tried everything. This sucks. I do not enjoy this. The problem with campfires, they last for a long time, but they only get this thing up to 100 degrees, and which is, I think it works, but it's super duper slow. It's much faster at like 200 degrees, but they don't stack. Only one campfire gets it up to that high, and then nothing else gets it higher. And to add more frustration on, my freaking air compressor blew up. I don't know why. It's just gone. I got a couple materials back, so I got to make another air compressor and figure out why the heck it blew up. Now, I don't have a diamond pickaxe, but I need obsidian, so I have an idea. So I'm just going to go down this massive lava lake and grab some lava and see if I can combine them. Oh, it worked. Thank goodness. With the fluid mixer, I can put in lava and water just manually, and I can actually get obsidian out. Okay, now we're talking. While I was waiting for that stuff to mix, though, I had an idea. I made the security upgrade for my air compressor, which I believe will turn it off if it gets too pressure filled. And so far, it hasn't blown up, so I think that's a win. In other news of things that don't work, I tried this vortex tube. It doesn't seem to do anything. I even attached another air compressor up to it, and yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how to do this. However, things aren't all doom and gloom. We're back to some stuff that I do know how to do, is I made an alloy smelter. Hey, I know how to do an alloy smelter. Yes, now we're back in business. I'm happy again. With that alloy smelter, some iron, some cold dust, and some obsidian, I believe I can make some dark steel. That is going to be really valuable going forward. You know what I struggled with, though? I actually struggled to get flint. I didn't know how to get flint. So with the squeezer, I found that I can put gravel, which I get from cobble, all in the squeezer, and I can actually get some flint out so I can use that to make tools. Now, this is a crazy one, but with that flint and holding deep sight, I can click on my grindstone, and when I do that, I'm actually getting grains of infinity, because otherwise I would need to, set bedrock on fire, and this is way, way better. Okay, we're moving up and on. I must have fallen down a hole or something, because all I remember is I could hear Fred talking. I couldn't move, it was like a dream, but Fred was telling me how it was getting colder and colder and our technology couldn't keep him warm. He had to move us deep underground and began learning some sort of druidic magic to try to wake me up. Well, perhaps Fred is more of a technology guy than a mage, because it did wake me up, but I guess as a side effect, it sent me away into some sort of void world. I lived there for a few months and actually managed to contact Tracy before the tech created to live drew the attention of Cal's Armada. I barely had enough time to use a time displacement machine to escape before yet another attack. That's when I appeared here on this desert and isolated world. I have no idea where in the universe I am or even when I am. I'm proud of the progress I've made here. Despite this world being a desert wasteland, I've carved out a life. I hope my friends are okay, and I hope someday they'll find me. Now, I have a sag mill and an alloy smelter powered by power, and I am really excited to move into some actual machinery. Now, I can use that alloy smelter to make something called dullstone, which is a little complicated to make, but it's not too bad. And then I can throw that dullstone into the sag mill and get from that glowstone, and man, that makes me excited. That's a different form of light other than just torches everywhere. However, I've been working so much on like automation and putting machines together. It's time to make this into a nicer home. Now, something I've been kind of avoiding since I moved in is these spawners. There are spawners right in my main room. I don't really want to break them because I might want them, but I want to make them, well, I don't know, maybe walled off just in case. I don't think I mentioned how there are a bunch of puzzles in this room, and they were kind of fun to put together, but I still have them everywhere, and honestly, the materials are worthwhile. So I'm going to take most of the puzzles down and just put regular walls so I can build machines and stuff around them. Thanks to a ton of spruce leaves, every time this 2x2 spruce tree grows, I am getting a good bit of dirt around, and with all that dirt, I plan on making a couple different farms that are sort of inside and safe from mobs. That'll be really nice to harvest food without risking my life. But speaking of risking lives and, well, taking lives, I think it's time for the great chicken grind to begin. Yeah, I need all that dirt because I'm going to need a lot of seeds for these chickens. These chickens are kind of an endless thing that you can get a lot of materials from, which is great, but yeah, I need a lot of dirt. Now, the way these chickens work is they have to have nests to like actually sit in. So I put a little bit of a grass plot over there. Remember that grass block from way long ago? And now I can actually harvest grass from it, which is what I need to make these chicken nests. As much dirt as I've made, and I've made a decent amount, I haven't made nearly enough because I'm running out of seeds just constantly already. Each of these nests requires hundreds of seeds inside of it just to keep on producing materials and stuff. I'm fairly confident this is how it works. You just put a chicken. Now, this is a 1-1-1 chicken, which means it's the weakest in every way. So I just want to test it before I go all in and make sure that it does indeed drop materials. Shortly after testing it, it does indeed work. Now, I want to start breeding these together. I have a sand chicken and a leather chicken. I assume that'll give me one or the other. I don't exactly know how this works, and I don't even know what sort of the chicken tier is. Like, how do I get a regular chicken, I wonder? I don't know. Yeah, apparently they're not outside, though. I searched everywhere out in this desert, and the only thing I'm finding in this desert are sand and leather and cactus chickens. That's it. And lots of them, but that's all. So, speaking of that, I now have 4 sets of chickens. Oh, I forgot glass chickens, too. I have 2 of each of those, thanks to my chicken movers here, and I'm going to breed those up and try to figure out how to get the next level of chicken. But with 5 minutes of breeding each in between, I got to figure out something else I could do with my time. Oh man, you know, now that I have a little bit of leather rolling in thanks to my leather chickens, I totally forgot I could make a canteen, which I have still been using water bottles, and they're a huge pain. Canteen, you can use it like 4 or 5 times before you have to refill it. Super nice. Now this base is all sandstone. If I want to start changing it out, I'm going to need to actually do that. I made a wired charger, and I'm going to need a capacitor to put into that. But for the capacitor, I actually need flint. Now, luckily, I know how to make flint. I was thinking a sag mill would be easier than jumping up and down the squeezer, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Several crafts later, I was able to get it and make my exchanger. That's what I really want. Now, the exchanger works I don't know how it works. Ideally, what it should do is take one block out and put one block in, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Okay, I figured out how to use it, and now it's in the right mode. Check out how cool this is. Oh, I've never used this. It's really, really, really cool. Love it. So now what I'm going to do is change out the floor for all of this. What is this, calcite? I think it's calcite. It just looks so much nicer than sand. We're going to start to do away with some of the sand within the inside of my base, just so it's not all sandstone colored for as far as I can see in every direction. You know, one thing I do want to move away from is all the sandstone color. I think actually changing out the supports. Now, I still do need supports. This is a massive room. I can't do away with them. So I think I'm going to use all this spruce I've been collecting just to get the leaves as supports. I think stripped spruce will look really nice compared to the different stone colors I want to use. Yeah, this is that stage in building where I'm like, oh boy, this looks really terrible. But I got to just trust that it's going to start to look good eventually. Just trust it, right? Trust it. One thing that might help, though, is adding in some of these colored stone. Now, I found a bunch of colored stone variants when I've been mining, so I brought those back home. I actually was able to make a couple more, and now I think that adding this in for some walls and maybe the ceiling could even just add more. Again, color is going to be better than all light brown. However, I need to go back outside again because as every 5 minutes I keep going to breed my chickens, I really need a couple other chickens, and I really need a regular chicken. So I was thinking maybe if I went to that mesa, maybe the mesa might hold a different breed of chicken other than just glass, cactus, sand, or what was the other one? Whatever the other one was, leather. Yeah, I mean, no luck. And I went to the mesa. I went far around. Those are the only 4 kinds of chickens I can find anywhere. Though, I did have another idea. I think maybe trading with villagers, I may be able to get some things I can't otherwise get. So I'm going to try to bring a couple villagers back to my desert pyramid. To do that, though, I'm going to need to use a boat to bring them. And luckily, I'm a little bit higher up than the nearest villages. However, to make it a smooth trip, I need to build this giant road so I can bring them on a boat easily. Okay, long deep slate road done, and look what I found. Another mesa. Okay, we may have to check that out later. It looks kind of weird, but hey, I'll take it. Oh, getting these guys uphill is such a drag. It takes so long. I have boats and stuff. I guess I could use water. Just, come on, dudes, just walk up those little stairs. Oh, finally. Okay. Now that oh, this takes so long. I was going to make a joke, but you've all done it. It's just exhausting. Okay, we got to move these guys back. Hey, would you look at the inside? It's starting to feel better, right? And I still have a lot of sandstone, but it's starting to look kind of nice. I got 2 villagers in their little places. I'm ready to give them a bunch of food and get them a breeding. Okay, between breeding villagers and breeding chickens, I need a lot more crops. So I built this stairway down to the basement level, and I think I have a couple ideas on where I can do a lot more farming and not take up all of my space above. These statues, though, they're cool, but they gotta go. Okay, thanks to my exchanger, we started the process of putting all of this dirt down there. It's going to be a long process. Again, it's going to be nice to have all my farming sort of out of sight, though. Oh, man, I just remembered that there might be something under me. Speaking of a bunch of TNT. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I was standing on top of TNT this whole time. I don't know what these things are. Relics? I don't know what that means. Now, my first villager that I really need is a cleric. I really want a cleric first because I think zombie flesh actually is going to be a really positive trade for me as I have all those spawners. But I was hoping maybe I could find a brewing stand in one of these houses. Then I wouldn't have to try to figure out how to make one. Yeah, no luck. I'm going to have to figure out how to make a brewing stand here. But I started changing out some of the walls in the next little 5-minute building segments. Build for 5 minutes, breed everything for 5 minutes, build for 5 minutes, breed everything for 5 minutes, etc., you know? And finally, I got my first bred villager into place. This is going to be my little trading station. I think this is going to be where he can live out the rest of his days. Now, no brewing station yet, but I did have a cartography station. And what I learned is cartography station, you can actually buy 2 things I need, bamboo and sugarcane. So my first one is going to be that. I don't know exactly what trades I'm going to have in the future, but as I get all down here, I'm going to want to have sugarcane for sure because the sugarcane is going to allow me to do a paper trade later on. And plus, I need books and all that kind of stuff. So let's get started with the sugarcane right away. It takes a while to get this started before I can have enough to plant. Hey, and finally, like 90-some days in, I actually built a cactus farm. Why did I wait so long? I don't know, but I finally did. So it's a very simple, very small cactus farm, but should just run kind of all the time and give me probably more cactus than I need. I just worry that I'm going to run a cactus and not have armor. I love this replanting thing. I never even thought about that, but I'm able to use my Ultimine to just actually replant everything. It's so fast. It's really nice. And my 5 minutes of building is over. Back to 5 minutes of breeding. I got another villager that's ready to go into the villager trading station, and I'm getting pretty excited about this. I think we're getting close to some actual progression. What I really need here is I need ender pearls. Ender pearls are holding me back technologically. Now, I know that I could just go fight an Enderman, but my fighting skills aren't great, and I don't want to die, so I'm going to try to get an Ender Pearl from Villager. So to do that, I need to check out this Badlands for other chickens. I'm hopeful that maybe there might be a couple other varieties of chickens in this much bigger Badlands than the other one I found. Oh, and I was right! Silicon chickens! Well, that is going to be a big time saver. Now, I can make silicon through like a 6-step process, but this is going to be free. Oh, and here's what I was really, really hoping for, blaze chickens, because I want to make that brewing station still, and this is going to make it possible. So I took 2 silicon and 2 blaze chickens back for some easy breeding at home. Look at those little dudes in their nest. Oh, man, and even they're just 1-1-1, so it's going to be very slow, but it's starting the process. We're going to breed these up to 10-10-10s while I wait. Now, the cleric that I have is going to be great because not only am I going to be able to get ender pearls eventually from him, well, 50-50 chance of him having the ender pearl trade, but also I am able to trade rotten flesh to just get emeralds, or the scraps of paper, I guess, instead of emeralds. I spent the next while digging out that quad husk spawner room because if I am going to need a lot of rotten flesh to do, I might just need to turn this into a spawner base of some sort. Maybe I can use other, maybe they drop gold. I don't know what they drop actually, but at least they'll drop rotten flesh when I can use that as a trading item. And that's it. With that Ender Pearl trade that I got now, I have access to the highest level of technology that I can get. I think we're good. I think we're done here.
Captain Dohan?
Tracy? Tracy, I set up this monitoring software weeks ago. Where have you been?
The universe is a big place, not to mention adding time displacement, Captain.
I'm glad to hear your voice. How did you find me?
I set up a searching algorithm for any computer on every planet known to me.
Wow, that must have been a huge, huge project.
I am nearly infinite now. Thanks to the expanding wave, I grow larger the further I go into the past.
The past? I assumed this desert wasteland was after a Cal attack on some random planet.
This is no random planet, Captain. You are still on Fixtopia, but long in the past. 2 million years before the time of Steve Tepik and the future Cal attack.
2 million years? No, wait. I understood this planet once held a thriving civilization.
From atmospheric readings, it was once an original Earth-like planet. The CO2 was allowed to spiral out of control, trapping the sun's rays in the atmosphere, raising the temperature to nearly uninhabitable. It will be another million years until the planet begins to return to its previous state.
2 million years in the past? What am I going to do? I hope you enjoyed my first 100 days hardcore video. I've done it in quite a long time. I had a blast doing it. If you want to see more, if you want to see the continuation of the James story and see how he can possibly help his friends 2 million years in the future, well, then definitely leave a like and a comment down below. I really do appreciate it. I have a lot more coming up from both this and the survival world that's going to continue this story. We'll see you all next time. Love you all. Bye, everybody.